Hey Planty Peeps, welcome or welcome back to Niche's Plants. My name is Kanisha, also known as Niche, and this is Niche's Plants. On this channel we talk, live and love plants. If that's your thing, hit that bell button and subscribe. So in today's video we are going to be creating my soil mix that's fit for your Anthurium houseplants. Now I basically need to do this because I bought a new Anthurium a few weeks ago. Yep, Anthurium magnificum, and basically, as you can see, it's a seedling, it's acclimatized, and now it's time to pot it up. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get into it. So this is our setup. As you can see, I've got each ingredient laid out. You can consider the glass containers that they're in to be cups, and as you can see, a lot of them are full cups, some will be a quarter, half, but I'll go into those. We will look at these ingredients individually and what their contribution is to the soil mix. So first we will start with our coconut husk. Now coconut husk is taken from the inner shell of the coconut, and basically I've soaked this so it usually comes dry, and you can see it looks coarse, it's not too harsh. I've basically soaked this because cocoa husk is quite good for holding water. Basically I'll place majority of it at the bottom of the container and some throughout the mix itself, but this ensures that if I miss a day of watering or the environment is a lot hotter and the plant is using a lot more water, that it can make its way to the cocoa husk and retrieve the water that it desires, as these hold a little bit of water but not enough to make your mixture soggy. So we have clay balls. Now clay balls, as you can see, are balls of clay, and their prime purpose in this mixture is for airflow and to get air to the roots. Because of their shape, you can see that nothing can really sit against it flat, so basically it will help prevent the soil from becoming too compacted, and therefore creating pockets of air within your mixture, which then allows a lot more air to get to the roots, which is very beneficial for the plant and they enjoy. Alongside that we have the all famous, which everybody knows about, is orchid bark. Now orchid bark is great again for aeration, also in allowing the roots of the plant to attach to something. Anthuriums in the wild very often will attach to wood, and they use basically trees to climb up and get a better position. So having orchid bark in the mixture helps them to feel like they're at home, but it also helps with aeration. It also helps with drainage as well. So it's got several purposes, but we do love it. Next to that I have horticultural charcoal. Now horticultural charcoal, as I've mentioned in my previous video, which is my soil mixture, I'll link that in below so you can watch that in regards to mixtures for other houseplants. It helps to purify your soil, so in that sense it helps to rid the soil of mold, odor and bacteria, and obviously those are things we do not want in our soil, so it works well. Now following that we have sedge peat. Sedge peat is, you could say, a soil substitute. It has a lot of nutrition in it for the plant, so this is something that they can get their macro and micronutrients from. If you don't know, sedge peat is made up of decomposing sedges, reeds, cattails and marsh grasses. So all those are decomposed, obviously broken down, hence why it's got a lot of nutrition in there. And it's a great soil substitute. It's also good for increasing humidity, and I use it as a light soil supplement. Now tree fern. So this is tree fern. As a lot of you guys might know, just the normal fern plants, and obviously you can get fern trees, and this is basically the bark of that broken down and shredded, and that is what it looks like. Tree fern is great. It has natural antibacterial properties. It helps with airflow but also releases nutrients back into the plant. So a bit like the cocoa husk that can hold extra water and nutrients, if you've got fertilizer in there, the tree fern will do the same, but obviously it's smaller, so it's scattered through the soil or the substrate a lot more, allowing it to be more accessible to the plant's roots. Last but not least we have worm castings. Now everybody loves worm castings. If you don't know what they are, worm castings is basically worm's poo, to put it frankly. Worm castings are beneficial because it is a natural fertilizer. A lot of growers, and I know farmers as well, use worm castings to propagate plants and to start seedlings, because it is a soil substrate, but also it's got a great amount of nutrients in there that the plant needs and can benefit from. So that's why we throw this in there. Also, the nutrients in worm castings are a lot more easily accessible to the roots. So we're now going to mix all the ingredients into the bowl and make up our substrate. Now I'm only putting a little bit in here. Like I said, I want the rest of this to be at the bottom of the planter. So we've got basically, I should have said this, sorry. We've got 1 cup of cocoa husk, we've got 2 cups of orchid bark, we have 1 cup of clay balls, we have a 1/4 cup of horticultural charcoal, we've got 1/2 cup of worm castings, we've also got 1 cup of tree fern, 1 cup of sedge peat, and this is the 2nd cup of the orchid bark. So now we're going to plant up our magnificum that we have here. This is our completed soil mix, and I've got a net pot that I'm going to be using. So let's do that now. As I said, initially in the bottom of this pot, I'm going to put the cocoa husk. I'm going to put in now and just have that as a layer of moisture, which also means that when I do water the plant and the water runs off, I don't flood them when I water them, but I let the water trickle off. The husk that's in the bottom will hold and retain some of that water, so that means, as I said before, if I don't get to water them bang on when I should, or if I'm away, there is water there that they can reach. Now we're basically just going to pot it up. As you can see, that is potted up and it's looking good in there. You can probably see some of the charcoal, the sedge peat there, tree fern, all those gorgeous ingredients. What I usually do is top off the top with some orchid bark, just to hold the top off, and also I think it just looks a bit better, so we're going to do that now. So and that is our Magnificum, all potted and lovely. So now we're going to water it, and I'll show you how free draining the mixture is. Can you see that? Water started to come out of the bottom. There you go. Now, I've not poured a lot, to be honest. That was probably a 1/4 cup, but you can see there that it runs quite freely, and as it settles, you'll see it's a little brown in colour as the sedge is kind of moving through it, but there we go. Do let me know if you use this soil mixture for your anthuriums and whether they like it. If you substitute any of the ingredients, for instance, you could change the leckables for perlite. I like the clay balls because leckables, I said both, but you know what I mean. I like them because they stay in place. If your whole collection or your houseplants aren't just anthuriums, then do check out my DIY soil mixture, because I use that for most of my arrows as well as my common houseplants, and they love it. So link down below. But for now, don't forget to dare to dream, live to grow, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.